All right, thank you for tuning in again. In this quick video, I'll walk you through 6 reasons why you should not use only 1% rule to analyze your rental property. If we are just meeting, my name is Wale Lawal. I am an investor and realtor in the Houston, Texas market. So number one, we use three method to analyze rental property. The very common one is 1% rule. 1% rule simply means your rent should be 1% of your purchase price. So if you're buying a house for $150,000, you should be able to rent it for at least $1,500. So this is number one way we analyze rental property. Number two is that your monthly cash flow. So some people could say that, okay, I want to net $300 monthly cash flow. Anything short of that, it is not a deal for me. That's number two. Number three way is your return on investment. Typically, a lot of people go with 10% or higher to make them comfortable with the deal. So, but my idea is to combine these three together. Do not just use only 1% rule. And here are the variables that makes using only 1% rule as a recipe for disaster, because if you're using only that, these 6-7 things I want to discuss will actually prove you wrong, that hey, you actually should have not been analyzing your rental property correctly. Number one is taxes. Taxes vary from different neighborhood, different states, and different cities. So you want to make sure that the taxes, will not just fluctuate anyhow. If the taxes this year, just jump up by 0.25, 0.3 by next year, then you're going to be in a problem because you've analyzed your property based on the current tax year. So you have to be careful with that. So one of the big variable is the taxes. Number two is the rent rates. The rent in different area will be different. And if you are actually thinking you're going to be getting higher rents, and what if there is a situation and you couldn't just get that rent? So you want to make sure that aside from you knowing that the rent will be certain amount, you still having other things to cover yourself should the rent fluctuate. Number three, which is pretty much the most important one, is equity. There is no way to factor in equity when you are using a 1% rule. So let's take, for example, two different investors. One is buying a house for $100,000, the other one is buying for $100,000, but the other house worth around $130,000, while this second one is only worth $100,000 or $110,000. So you can see that there is a difference of $20,000 already with these two different investors. So, and if you're just basing it on 1% rule, if it doesn't meet that 1% rule, I'm not going to buy it. What about the $20,000 equity that is already sitting in the house? So you need to factor in this one and make sure that you're actually analyzing your rental property correctly. So a lot of people will say, hey, I can think about the equity and all those things, but there is no fast way for you to do that if you are only using 1% rule. So number four is the down payment. As you know, two different investors buying a house of $100,000, one is putting 30% down, the other one is putting 5% down. Obviously, the cash flow will be different because they have more money in the deal than each other, and especially if the other one that is even putting more down payment even have additional equity in the house. So that is more meat on the bone for that investor. That would be a better deal compared to somebody that is just analyzing the deal based on their 5%. They are not accounting the fact that, hey, I'm not putting so much money down for me to make a better return on my investment, because you know that the more down payment you put down, the better your cash flow. So that's number four. Number five is deferred maintenance. If you just thinking you want to buy a rental property based on 1% rule, what about the roof that will be needing you to replace it in the next 2-3 years? What about the foundation that has already been showing some sign of, not imbalance? What about the walls that is, that needs to be painted? What about that kitchen that needs to be remodeled? So all these are the things you need to factor in when you're trying to buy a rental property, not just using only 1% rule, because let's say it meets 1% rule now, 2-3 years down the line, what if it doesn't meet that 1% rule again? Or what if it just something just happened, capital expenditure, you just spend a lot of money and you're now negatively cash flowing? So 1% rule is not the ideal way. It's a quick guideline. It's not even a rule. It's just a guideline to kind of just give you before you take a deeper look into that deal, if it actually worth pursuing, if it actually worth you spending extra 10 minutes on or not. So not a singular rule for you to base your decision on. The number 6 one is interest rate. So two different investors, one is getting a 5% interest rate, the other one is getting 8% interest rate. Maybe the one getting 8% is using a commercial loan, which we know it's higher interest rate. So again, their return on investment will be different because the interest rate is different, same as down payment. So a lot of variables are involved when you're trying to analyze rental property. Make sure you educate yourself and make sure you are analyzing it correctly. Do not use only 1% rule. 1% rule is just a quick guideline to advise you or to enable you to come up to that conclusion that yes, I think it was me spending extra 10 minutes on. If you find value in this video, make sure to like it, share it, subscribe, and don't forget to smash that bell so I can let you know anytime I have a new video. Once again, my name is Wale Lawal. I am an investor and realtor in the Houston, Texas market. If you're trying to buy a rental property or you've been thinking about it, or you just want me to explain more about 1% rule or how you should be correctly analyzing your rental property, feel free to give me a call or schedule a time on my calendar and we can make it happen for you. Once again, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.